Welcome back, everybody. This is a segment where this guy makes you rich,
Well,
right?
That's the idea.
That's the idea. And go Royals, by the way. I like
right.
your Royals finery. I appreciate
right.
that. I wore my royal blue today. Okay, dollars and cents.
Yep.
Ready for this week's question?
Yeah, we got a tough question this week.
We do. Okay, I have not seen it. What is wrong with trying to get the highest possible average rate of return for my retirement accounts? Bruce, I don't see anything wrong with that. What's up?
Well, here's the deal with that. This has come up before. People say, you know what, it's my retirement account. Why don't I just be as aggressive as I can until I get to retirement, and then I'll worry about being conservative when I get there and kind of circle the wagons when I get there. Well, the problem with that is you can't forget about risk. Downside risk is a killer. So we're going to use an example today, and we're going to look at just an aggressive investment example. So I've got $10,000 in my retirement account, so I decide I'm just going to go for the gusto, and right out of the gate, we make 150% on our investment. Now we're sitting on $25,000. We made 15 grand the very first year, and boy, the birds are singing, the bees are flying,
I must
everybody's
be a financial
happy.
genius. I'm good at
and
this.
now I'm thinking I'm a genius. I made all this money, but usually with very aggressive accounts, what happens? Peaks, tanks. So now the example, we lose 80% the next year. We made 150 the first year. We lose 80%. The next year. Well, you got to remember, you got to do the math. When you lose 80% of what you've gained plus your deposit, now we're down in the example to $5,000 in our account, but we still have an average rate of return for 2 years of 35%. So that's why when people come to me and they say, Bruce, I've had this money in the markets and I've been aggressively invested, and it just seems like I've had a good rate of return, but my accounts are not growing. That's the example why. Anytime you have to make up that downside risk before you can move forward, you're not making money, you're recovering what you previously lost. So even though you made a good rate of return, I've had people come in. I made 32% last year. Great. How much do you have in your account? Almost as much as I had 3 years ago. Well, you've recovered, and it doesn't have a whole lot to do with future retirement, because if you can't count on your dollars that you've accumulated, if they're always at risk, you've got to rethink that. So there's 4 things that I think everybody needs to consider when they're considering going ultra aggressive and trying to maybe catch up from all these years I've been conservative. Now I want to catch up and get my retirement back on track. Well, you've always got to consider the downside risk, because once it goes down, it's harder to climb out of the hole. You need to always try to figure out, what am I trying to accomplish with this money? And then always, always look at your goals, objectives, and priorities. That has to come into play. Even though you're trying to be aggressive, you've got to consider, you know, what am I really trying to do and what's my objectives? And then go back to your long-term game plan. Everybody needs to develop this long-term game plan and try to stick within what you establish as, here's what my plan is going to be. A little bit of aggressive growth is good, a little bit of conservative, some moderate, a good mix, and always be thinking about cash and always my timeline and where I'm going and things like that.
Your timeline, I would think your age, you need to consider that, how much time you have on your side moving forward, and a good financial planner can help you sort of pick and choose.
Always ask an expert. Don't hesitate to ask. People hesitate, and they don't. They think, I don't want to look stupid. I don't want to ask a dumb question. Well, it's your life savings. Now's the time to not worry about that and ask those dumb questions, because they're probably not dumb questions. They're probably questions that need to be addressed.
They are, and who wants that feeling all those years later when you say, gosh, I wish I would have asked that question? You don't want that regret.
That's right.